honestly a life changer.
Trickles down from and making yourself better.
What's up, guys? Welcome to today's episode on the Revival Show. If this is your first time with us, my name is Drake Robert. I'm the owner and CEO of Revival Marine Care and the host of the Revival Show. Normally, I have with us Noah Doss, who is our co-host, but today we've got a special guest, and I can't wait to introduce this man. This guy has been, in my business life, professional life for quite a while. It's been a major influence on me. I get to call him when stuff hits the fan and when I have issues and just questions, man. And he'll also do the same for me. We've been around for quite a while. This guy owns, I don't know, maybe 20 companies at this time, if I've lost count or something. And man, we have a special episode for you guys today. So stick around. You're going to get way more value than you can imagine. So let's jump into it, man. Who do we have today?
Dustin Jackson, man. Appreciate the awesome intro, and I can't state it enough. The friendship that we've grown over the years means everything to me. I know you mentioned you reach out to me when you need help, and I've always done the same. We've kind of our paths crossed early in our detailing game together, and we kind of took two different routes, right? I took build the scale and build the big as far as staff and operation, and you took the influence side and went, but we always kind of found each other coming back and
Sure.
just supporting each other, loving each other, helping each other, and man, the friendship means everything to me.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, likewise, I think, I know our first real business interaction was at a detail training class. You came out, I believe. Yeah. And before then we had connected. I remember, I think the first time you sent me a photo of your guys watching my YouTube videos in your shop. So yeah, that was awesome, man. And the cool thing about Dustin too, he's only, 45 minutes away from me or an hour away.
Not far, an hour down the street. And, when you moved out to California for a while, we still kept in touch and followed your journey all along. But it's funny you mentioned the TV in the shop, And so what we used to challenge the detailers with was to bring a video. Each one of them had a specific day that they would bring a video, and we'd watch it, and it had to be 10 minutes or less. And so when it was time for the boat detailers team, it was always a Drake video. And I'm like, I get tired of seeing this guy. Can somebody else make another boat video?
And at the time, too, we were detailing at the same marinas and stuff.
We were.
I remember working next to your guys and stuff. And one thing I've always loved about you and your company and in our company, I think that's why we kind of meshed well, is we never really were super competitive and trying to backstab each other.
Right.
I remember there was one time, it was at Barber Marina, that your guys were wet sanding a boat, and I could tell they were having some troubles. It was a jacked up boat, and I walked over there and told them, hey guys, y'all might want to drop down on some sandpaper and stuff. I think I met your dad the first time out there, and yeah, man, just helping. So
dude, that's it. Sharing stories here, and it just popped back up online. I don't know if you reshared it, but the pontoon polishing.
Oh God, yeah.
And I'll never forget you calling me before you do it. He's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing, and I'm like, don't. If you get the opportunity, just don't. And everybody that ever polishes pontoons has the same feeling after they're done. It's like, I will never do that again.
Yeah.
And so, but I saw that video pop up, and it just reminded me of those conversations, man. It's cool.
Yeah, I remember that day very vividly. I remember calling you, going, "Damn it, I should have listened."
I about took my head off with a Zephyr wheel.
Well, cool, man. Let's. I want to know, because I actually don't know, what businesses do you own or run?
Sure.
Because you got quite a. I said 20. It's probably not that many, but
it's not that many. It's about 11. Feels like 211. And it's about 11 too many. But we'll just give you the rundown here, and I'll try to get them all. So easy in detail, right? That's most relevant here in this room. Professional detailing, PPF tent, marine and automotive. Cut our teeth in the marine world.
Yeah.
Started it, owner operator, grew it to what it is now. We do north of $1 million a year in detailing. We got 12 full-time detailers. So easy in storage facilities, boat and RV storage, climate, and then we have enclosed and regular storage, and then we have climate controlled storage, easy inside. Easy In Outfitters is our retail stores. So we sell outdoor apparel, lifestyle apparel. We have we had 3 brick and mortars. We just reduced down to 2. We're going to grow it again. We had a change of location and a big e-com platform. I have a marketing company, Bayshore Strategies. Chris, our videographer, works for them, and we do marketing for all of our sister companies, plus some other companies. Let's see, Coastal Angler Magazine. I own.
Yeah, you bought a magazine.
Yeah. I mean, 3 territories of Coastal Angler Magazine, that's one of those that. Since Chelsea's in here staring me down, I'll say that's one of those that's been a challenge. Print advertising is it's a challenge. I own an events planning company where we do a boat show on the bay. So we host a boat show.
And that's every year, right? In April, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
First weekend in April, and then we're thinking about doing a fall show at another location.
Cool.
We were sought after by another big. Like a big park that's wanting us to do a show there. So looking for that in 27. What am I missing here?
The one on your hat.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. So I am not the sole owner. I'm 50-50 partners with with Mike Carlin for IGL Coatings USA.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I don't know how I forgot that. That one's a huge one. We acquired that company 2.5 years ago from Joel and Jeff.
Yeah.
And man, what a monster. It's fun. It's exciting. It challenges you every day. But yeah, it's good. And I'm sure there's something else. So we have a CRM. So I owned Detail Booking, which is a software company. I sold it in January of 2025. But the software company, I built it for the detailing industry, and was super. I was excited to get it into the industry because I know what it did to my business 9 years ago.
Sure.
And so. Built it, took it to market, sold it, and then sold the company back in 25, and it's still operated today, which is really cool. So,
And you sold that company though, correct?
Yeah. I sold it to Rod and Jody that owns Road FS, and I was wondering if they would keep it on. I didn't know if they were just buying the customer base or if they truly wanted the software, which is a really cool thing that they actually kept it. They actually it's still operating today. I use it every single day in our shop.
Cool.
And it lives on. So
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's safe to say you got a little business experience, huh?
Yeah. So serial entrepreneur, since I was 14, I have the plaque with my first business license when I was 14 years old in my office. I've never taken a paycheck from someone else. I've always earned my own check.
Ever? You never had a real job in?
Yeah. So when I was right before I opened the paintball field, which was Paintball Extreme, which was my first company. I did have a construction job where I worked. I would go into work, but I never depended on it. I was, as a kid. But I did get a paycheck. But I always say I never relied on the paycheck. It was always self-funded. And if you're not if you're not born for it, if you don't really feel it down deep, I always tell everybody, if you don't want it worse than you want to breathe, then it's not for you, because it's not for the money. I can promise you that.
Yeah, at least not the first 10 years.
Right. Yeah. And there's times, right? Yeah. There's times where you feel like you got it figured out and the money's great.
Sure.
But then there's times where you're it dumps you on your head and you're like, what happened?
Well, there's times where on a Monday you got 18, 20 grand in your account, and by Tuesday now you're negative $1,200.
We can, that's a daily routine. Oh, yeah. That happens. But start the day and end the day.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah, literally. So, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Running and owning and operating businesses is everything to me. It's my identity. It's who I am. I love it. I have a passion for it. I love to solve problems. That's probably what I focus on the most part of running businesses, solving problems, and then creating teams that can then solve those problems.
That's good. And we're going to talk way more about that second aspect of that throughout this episode, because building teams is, massive for us and for you. And I know you have a lot of content, and just everything you do is about building team, and you can't do it alone. But this just popped in my head. Was there a moment when you were young, probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, where it's something you had a thought, or there was a moment where you're like, I am going to run a business one day? Or was it just kind of happened?
No, it's a great question. Yeah, I knew it from Jump Street. I knew it from his earliest memories.
You were slinging breast milk, dude.
Whatever it takes, bro.
Selling it to your friend.
You want somebody? No, I always I was always I wouldn't look at doing something. I would look at it as an opportunity. I always would challenge, everything I saw would be they could do this better, or I would do it this way. it was very an analytical side of like how I would do it.
Yeah.
Or if I was building a tree house in the backyard. Okay, like this is a prime example. 10 years old building a tree house. I'm like, man, I could build tree houses for my buddies. Like I know how to do this. And like, hey, let me get. And it wasn't like how much should I charge them. It was like I can do this thing. And then if I get my friends in and we can do this thing. And that's exactly how it like. From as long as I can remember, that's how it went. You know, I was putting office furniture together for my mom's business at like 12 for pay. Like that, we'd go in and put desks like this together, and you know, she'd get me out of school and bring me to the office. I was charging like it just, and it was never about the money. I think it was about the challenge of doing the thing. Yeah, and that's rings true to my life.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. That's a cool perspective. I'm glad I asked that because, like, I that's actually not common, but it's like when you hear, and I listen to podcasts all the time, but like a lot of entrepreneurs kind of have that similar of like, I was hustling, you know, I was 8 years old selling cookies or whatever. Dude, I don't remember ever doing that like as a kid. However, I think for me, my dad was always self-employed. So that's kind of the only thing I ever knew. And I remember I had somebody ask me this question a couple months ago, and that's why I thought it came to my mind today for you. But like, they were like, was there a moment when you like knew? And I knew something was different about me because I think I was like, I don't know, maybe 8 years old or so. It was dial-up internet, like way back then, which you might have been like 18 or something. You're like, this kid,
that was high school for me.
But it was dial-up internet, and that noise is still ingrained in my brain. But I remember I was playing. It was like eBay was like the thing back then, and I was on eBay looking at cars, and I remember playing business at my dad's desk, and I had like a little notebook, and I was like writing down cars and pretending I was like calling people and selling them and making money. And I remember, like, even back then, I was like, one day I'm going to do this for a living, you know? And what's creepy, dude, is like we had a computer desk that literally looked similar to this. Like,
really?
That just dawned on me. It was like an L-shaped desk, kind of dark brown wood. And now I'm like
Life's
living
full circle, isn't it?
It's wild, man.
It is.
But yeah, other than that, I think the trait that I had when I was younger wasn't so much like the hustler mentality or always fixing problems. I had a problem, and I would find a way to get the thing I wanted.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can imagine I probably didn't do things ethically, like, you know, stealing out of the coin jar and stuff. But I think that was like that trait. It was like, hey, I want something. I can't do it. I don't have the means to do it. So what do I got to do to get the thing that I want? Yeah. And I still do that to this day, just ethically, you know, to the best part that I can get. But it's like, hey, I want, you know, this. I want my own brand. I want this. So what do I got to do to get there? And, you know, back then it might have been look like, well, save $50 for whatever this thing. And now it's like, well, my toys got a lot bigger, and I have to put the actual work in, the processes in to get those things that I want. And that's very similar to mine. You know, I grew up a little bit on the poor side. We didn't have a lot. And so, and I would always see things that I wanted. And I'm like, the only way that I'm going to get there is if I just take charge and run with it, you know? And so that for me was a driving factor. However, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs talk about like sales early on. Like I would go sell whatever, like, you know, newspapers or whatever the thing is, right? For me, it wasn't sales. It was always problem solving. Like, it's like, how would I do this differently? And it's still to this day, I'm a terrible salesperson. Yeah. Like the first person I hire, the first team I put in, the first problem, like the first thing we got to do is get a salesperson there because I'm not doing giving
it.
stuff away.
Yeah, I'm everybody's best friend.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. Noah's like, hey, you can't give everything away. Right. We gotta make money here.
And so I found out you put the pretty girls up front, let them answer the phones, let them give prices, and they do a great job. And you know, and when I get to go create process and create business and refine and you know, and improve. And that's the things that I love to do.
Well, and it's good too, because where I struggled in business early on is I was a victim to problems. Like I had to learn how to develop that problem solving thing, because I started business not really because I wanted to, obviously, but it was more or less like I kind of got pushed out of the nest and just had to sink or swim, basically. When I first got started on. And if you want more of my journey, go back and listen to episode 1 where, you know, I'd share all of that. But yeah, man, I think the most successful business owners are not the ones doing it for the money, but doing it because they genuinely kind of almost like in a bad way enjoy solving problems. Because You have to, because you're going to have a constant laundry list of problems. So if you're not good at solving problems, you're either going to be completely stressed out all the time, which you're probably still going to be.
Yeah.
But then you're not really going to have joy out of it.
No, it's not. It's gonna. Yeah, right. If you don't enjoy that part of it, it's you're not gonna like it at all. You need to go work for someone else that that those problems don't exist, because in entrepreneurship every day it's a different problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many processes you put in place, how many team members you put in place. At some level, those problems are going to escalate to your desk, and here it is.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I love to do. It's what I thrive on. And you're right. Like it changes with the day. If you did it for the money, every time the money wasn't there, it'd be miserable. So you really have to detach from that, and say, like, I'm here for a bigger purpose. It's to build this team. It's to run. If I focus on the checking account, then I'm not a happy camper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm focused on the lives that we affect and impact in the the community and the all the things that the industry that we can change and have an impact on. That's what matters.
Sure.
Not if there's $1 million or $10 million or $100 in the bank. That shouldn't matter.
I know in the last year, my business partner handles most of our finances, on that side, which, because I can, my gifting in life is spending money. So I'm like, if there's some money, I'll blow it.
Right.
I am not a saver by any means. And he's the opposite. He's very frugal, knows his money. And so I'm glad I have someone I could trust. But one thing that has brought me peace is now I'm fortunate enough to kind of, take my salary and I just work. I just do what I do, make my videos, and I'm good. I don't sit there and look at the bank account every day going, dang, we made this that much. Sure. Because I was that way for a long time of just constantly focusing on, well, if I solve this problem, I get this much. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm just going to do the right thing, solve it to the best of my ability, and then move on. So I love it, dude.
Yeah, I do too. Too. And, so what you've got here, I mean, what you've built it's truly a reflection of who you are, though, man. I walked in the front doors, and I know we're going to dig in, but I just gotta, I gotta give you the credit, man. It's a reflection of you. It's clean, it's professional, and it makes my day to walk in this, because I know how hard you've worked to get here.
Yeah.
I know some of the lows. I mean, you've had some conversations, and I remember the times, and to walk into this building and see what you've built is impressive, and I think you should know that.
Thank you so much, man. It's been a long journey, and that's why I'm like, I had someone ask me what I'm about to ask you here in a minute the other day, and I was able to articulate exactly what I would do, because I had the opportunity to do that just 3 years ago. Yeah. And what's wild is, obviously I had experience, but there was a time where I lost literally everything that I had besides my experience. And in 3 years, going from that to literally this building and products and the detail business, everything, I'm like, this is crazy. It doesn't even make sense, man. But it just shows you when you do the right things, treat people right, have faith, and then solve problems well, and don't give up. What's possible?
Well, faith, I mean, that right there is the guiding light.
Yeah.
And everything else kind of happens around that. So,
amen, dude. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I want to play somewhat of a little game.
Okay, let's play. What have we got?
So let's pretend that you woke up today. All right. So you woke up, you have no money. You have somehow. We ain't gotta pretend.
We're already here.
We don't have to pretend. All right. You lose all your money, all your businesses. You lose all your connections, all your influence. Every piece of content got ripped off the internet some way, somehow. And you woke up today and you are going to rebuild everything that you have. Today's day one.
Yeah.
Walk me through it.
Oh, man. First, I'm going to celebrate. A prayer of thanks.
Amen.
I think that's every entrepreneur's dream at some level, is to be able to start over.
Yeah.
Clean slate it. Because we all know the things that we coulda, shoulda, woulda done.
Yeah.
Right? You could look back and go, man, if I would have just done this, or if I'd have just done that, or even better, if I'd have known then what I know now.
Yeah.
We learned so much along the way. So, day one to me would probably be a celebration. And I don't mean that in a way that I don't love and appreciate where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But to be able to go, just and go, hey, here we go again, and know what I know now. Man, the businesses, how they would run, the structure, the format, the process, the discipline, all the things that you could put in place by knowing already.
Yeah.
Because we create all these bad habits, you know, and your teams create bad habits and ownership, and you're emotionally attached to every decision you've ever made. So it's hard to make clean slate changes, you know.
And you're too deep sometimes to just wipe the slate.
Well, I use this term a lot, pot committed. You know, in poker, when you get pot committed and everything's there, and you just have to keep playing because all your money's there. You know, here we are. And I don't mean that as if, like, again, that I'm not thankful and respectful of where I am, because it's hard earned, and I am. And there's a lot of people that would trade places with me.
Sure.
Okay. But the question's proposed, if I was able to start over, man, you know, I could think about like the structure and process that I would put in place, and the people, and you know how, again, just pouring into people, probably starting people off hire, you know, and we're so guilty, and we don't have, when you start business, you hire as cheap as you possibly can because that's where you're at financially.
Yeah.
And so you go through all of that hard stuff to try to get people up to livable wages, or either get through those people to get to people. And what I'm realizing now is if you just commit it early in the game, you can, the quality of labor, the quality of person, the quality of your team improves.
Yeah. So 100% agree with that. However, if someone's listening and goes, well, I'm in that spot and I got no money, no reputation, I can't just go hire people if I don't have jobs.
Sure.
You know, so what would you practically do day one, or let's say day two, because day one you're chilling on the beach. And you know, I had this come to mind too. Like you said that I would enjoy it. And I think my interpretation of that, because it's kind of how I felt, was like, I have some quiet. Like, life is simple.
Yes.
And, you know, we actually talked about this on a few episodes back, but like, we have people all the time who are like, man, I wish I had what you have. And I'm like, are you sure, dude? Are you sure? Because it is freaking insanity. Like 99% of my day is wild. And I don't think people actually know what they're signing up for, you know?
No, they don't. And the demand for your attention and the expectation of it is what's on another level. And that's not in a boastful, like prideful way. That's like a unhealthy amount of demand for you.
Sure.
You know, and we create that. And a lot of the times it's like, I think a lot of it, of who I am is made up in that. Like that, if that demand was to leave tomorrow or today, like I would probably feel lonely. Yeah. You know, like where's everybody at?
Yeah.
Well,
and then you get depressed because nobody wants you anymore.
Don't y'all have a problem I can solve?
Then you go create problems.
There we go. Right. And then here we are again.
Yeah.
You know, day two, I go to work, and I think about the way that I did things backwards, and I tell a lot of people this as often as I can, owner operators, right? So just assume I was getting in the detailing business again.
Sure.
And I started detailing because that's what you and I would do, right? Maybe. So I start detailing, right? Everybody wants to hire someone else to detail so they can go sit behind this pretty desk and work on their business instead of in their business, right? That's the cliche thing. Everybody says it. I've said it a million times, right? Don't work on your business. Won't work in your business. Work on it.
Yeah.
They hire someone to go perform the service, and they sit behind this desk, and they're now the marketing guy, the sales guy, the bills guy, the accounting, whatever. And they don't know how to do any of this, but they do know how to polish the car. And the guy out there polishing the car don't know how to polish the car because we didn't train them.
Yeah.
So my first hire is, like I'm going to do the work to generate the money, and I'm going to put somebody else to run all this stuff.
That's good
for now.
Yeah.
I'm a business guy. I love business. Yeah. I love being behind the desk. I've been that way my whole life. But at the end of the day, I love to work with my hands too.
Sure.
And so I think that putting people in place that can be great at what I'm not great at, sales, and whether it's marketing and sales and stuff like that, boom, instantly go there instead of trying to hire a team to go reproduce my work.
Dude, I think you shared that at MTE in your class that we sat through.
Yeah.
And I want to say that was the first time I ever heard someone say that. And literally, I think I wrote it down in my notebook. And I literally told that same advice to someone, and I did give him, gave him, or I gave you credit to him for that. Sure. Because I told him, I was like, dude, because he was in that same boat. He's in that position where, you know, maybe day one or, you know, year one, where you're like, you got a few jobs, maybe you posted some stuff on Facebook groups and, you know, because you ain't got no money and, you know, went door to door or whatever else, got a boat. Yep. And now it's like, dude, I got a couple boats on the schedule, got a couple things, and now I need to hire help. So you hire somebody that can start doing the details so you can go out and quote and sell and answer more emails. And I told him, I was like, dude, and he's done that. He's burned through 4 or 5 people. He's frustrated. And I was like, dude, have you ever considered you do the detail, but hire an admin person or hire someone that can answer the phones, answer the emails at minimum, just so you're keeping up with clients. Yep. And I did not do that. You know, I have that now, and it's been a game changer. And I started that about 2 years ago. But so many people, I think, do what you just said. You know, they hire the detail out, so now the detail suffers, and now your customers suffer because you suck at answering emails.
Yeah, because you're not the best. You're the best detailer.
Yeah, and you're not even happy because you don't like doing it. Because most of us get into boat detailing because we actually like it, or car detailing. It's like, it's fun, and then we take away from the thing that we actually enjoyed. And I believe your business suffers for that.
Yeah, you took the best person in that position and you pulled them out and you put the worst person in, and you said, okay, now I got to have a profitable business. And guess what? Now you have the stress of paying for this underperformer, you know, because you've got to, you know, feed the engine, right? And so now you're trying to do a job that you don't want. The thing is everybody, you know, when you're in a service-based industry, you're trying to get out of the service end of it because, you know, as a culture, it's been frowned upon. Oh, you're just a boat detailer. Oh, I'm just a car washer. At the end of the day, I'm a car washer, you know, or a boat washer. And so everybody's trying to climb out of that. And then you get told from every business coach there is, well, you need to work more on the business instead of in the business. The problem is they don't know how to run the business. Yeah. And so they know how to polish a car, polish a boat. And so you hire someone to go run the admin, answer the phones, and the emails, minimal, right? And then you let them fill the schedule up, and this engine is turning. Now you hire somebody that you can train side by side with, because that person is answering the phone, sending the emails, booking the jobs, feeding the engine, not you. And you're there creating process. You're there coaching and training and building this team that can then execute without you.
That's good. What was holding you back from doing that in the beginning, like years ago?
Oh man.
Or did you just do that?
I did it similar to that, but I did not put enough time and effort into looking for people that kind of knew the craft, right? I took people that would just take a job.
Yeah.
Literally.
They don't have a job. Hey man, you hire it, no driver's license.
Yeah. The only qualification, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4:30.
And will you work for $13 an hour?
Amen. You know,
hired.
And it took me years to realize that some experience goes a long way in training.
Sure.
You know, and so, you know, thinking back of why, I mean, I did take the business route. So when I started I tell this story, when I started Easy in Detail, I knew for a fact I wouldn't be holding a polisher the rest of my life. Right? Yeah. I started that business, owner operator, myself, polishing boats. I quickly hired another guy to work with me. But I knew it wouldn't be long before I trained him well enough for me to go to the office, because that's where I was better served. Yeah. Running the business is what comes natural to me. I am gifted to work with my hands. I love working with wood. I love, you know, polishing boats and cars. I love detailing. It's gratifying. I love to work with my hands, but I'm better suited to run the business.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, and you started with that mindset of, I want to actually run the business. I feel like a lot of detailers that I talk to, and I talk to thousands monthly, but they actually really love detailing.
Yes.
And they don't actually, I think because maybe culture and the world tells them, oh, you got to scale, you got to grow, you got to build. Like, I feel like most people would probably be just as happy just running running a buffer by themselves, like doing their thing. And I tell people all the time, like, if that's what you want, you can make good money just running a buffer. Maybe you, maybe another guy, and like live a good life. Now, will you be financially successful and take vacations and all that stuff? Maybe, maybe not.
Right.
That's not what I ever wanted, though. Like, even when I started detailing, I say I love detailing and I'm in a business, and I do. I mean, there's aspects to it that I love. But like, I said for years, like, I don't want to be 45 still running a buffer, you know? And I'd have people make fun of me or, chirp online and be like, I've been running a buffer, for 45 years. I know what I'm doing. And I'd be like, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And that's exactly how I felt. Like it was, and I'm deeply involved in the detailing industry.
Sure.
I mean, with the IDA, I'm a chair member of the marketing membership committee. So, and so detailing is like, I'm deeply rooted in it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't wake up every day to go polish a boat.
Sure.
Okay. Like that's not, I enjoyed it for a time. I built this business. I built a very successful business from that. But like that, at the end of the day, I wanted to build a business, and there was a big problem in our area. We had a shortfall. There was nobody that could detail boats, and I had boats, and so like when I would, I had a guy that would come clean my car, and I always just picked it apart. I'm like, I'm paying this guy $45, and I'm
this is how I could do it better.
Exactly.
I do it here.
And then he wouldn't do my boat, and I'm like, man, what do you mean you won't clean the boat? He's like, no, I won't do it. I said, okay, well, fine, I'm gonna do it. And then so I got out there and started polishing the boat myself. I'm like, oh man, I can do this. Like we have a need here.
Yeah.
And so I saw the problem, created the business, and here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, so we got a couple jobs. You hire an admin person first, right?
Yeah.
Would you, before you hired an admin person, would you hire a helper so you can get through jobs faster? Or would you say, hey, as soon as you possibly can, hire an admin person so that you can detail more, you can detail faster? What do you think?
That's a great question. First hire is admin.
Yeah.
First hire is to get this machine turning, fill the schedule up where you can't keep up.
Yeah.
Right? If you bring the helper in too early, it's just cutting your profit down. Now you're not making any money because they're inefficient and the schedule's not full and you're stressed. And now hey, I can't work you 5 days a week. You're going to take off Friday because we don't have time, so your quality of help goes down. So get the admin person there and fill the schedule up.
That's good.
Let us be profitable. Let me be great at what I'm great at. Let them be great at what they're great at. And let this machine turn, put some money in the bank. And so we can build that. That's if I was going back into the detailing industry, that's the approach I would take. No question.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Yeah.
That's good, man. And even if you want to detail you for yourself, that's still a good move just to have. And now there's so many options. It used to be kind of expensive to have like an admin person, but now, I mean, like through VAs and stuff, like you can get them very affordable, which do you have a business that actually does that? Like hook people up with virtual assistants?
Yes,
and
we
stuff?
do. We do.
You can give them a shout out if you want, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't advertise it. So it's through Jackson Operating. No, it's okay. No, anybody that wants a VA can reach out to us. So what, my virtual assistant, she works in the Philippines. She had a passion to create an agency and she wants to build this thing. And so essentially I'm just the gateway to help her build what she wants to build. Eventually it'll get big enough where she can't be my assistant anymore. Yeah. And she'll have to go run this and we'll hire me another one. But we put in a full accounting team for all of our companies through virtual, and it's been amazing. And so like putting someone to work, what most detailers think, okay, I got to put somebody in the office 40 hours a week, and what are they going to do the 20 hours that the phones aren't ringing, or there's not a social media post to make, or there's not an email to respond to, because you're owner operator, right? Who's emailing? Easy in with one employee. Sure. Not many people, but you can hire these VAs and you can hire people part-time to catch the phones, to respond to text messages and Facebook messages and emails and stuff. And then there's tools like a CRM that, you asked me what the next thing I'd do is probably CRM in place. Yeah. Something that we can manage the customer list and the conversations. And these are things you learn years after. You don't even know what a CRM meant. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, when I first started years ago, I had a planner, physically like, what is it? And then I'd write their info down, their phone number, and then I would mess up the phone number, and then I'd try to call them back 3 weeks later, and it's going to some guy named John or something.
Right. I don't have a boat.
And so I'd show up at 8 o'clock hoping I got the address right at least. I'm a little dyslexic, so I'd be like, it'd be like 819, I'd write 981. So I'd show up in Milton compared to Orange Beach or something. But yeah, man, that's cool. That's actually good advice. I mean, that's incredible, because it's literally the opposite of what most people think you should do. It's like, well, I want to be a business owner, or, so I'm going to work my way out of a job basically. But, I think what I also hear you saying is like hiring out your weaknesses too. Yeah. It's like, you're really, at least for me, I'm really strong in like 2 key areas in my business. The rest of it, we hire out, or we have to hire out. And, you know, if you're strong in one area in your business, hire out the areas you are not strong in. And unfortunately, not sure why, but we do the opposite. We hire out the very thing that we're strongest in because it takes the most of our time. And then we put us in the things that we're weakest in. And then we wonder why our business suffers or don't.
No,
you
it's
know,
it. And there's such a stigma to like service-based work, your plumber's trade. There what? I think it's going away. You know, I think that you've seen the college, and I went to college, but I think you're seeing that push for college, and this is where everybody has to go, and this is the only way. That's starting to fall off, and people are realizing, hey, we need people to do the work.
Yeah.
And so you're right. You take the person that performs best, and you pull them out of the position that they're great at, and you put them in something that they're not great at, and then the business starts to fail.
Yeah.
Sales for me is what I'm not great at. That's the very first thing I put in place, you know, and that works great for me.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so if we're a year in now, because you hired an admin person, it's you're running a buffer, you got a helper now, you know, jobs are going. Maybe you started some Facebook ads at this point to get some leads in. You got a CRM system. You did all the right things. I find that you may be capped out about 150, 200 grand a year is a good ceiling that people get stuck at, including myself. I was for years. What needs to change in you to get from 200,000 to 500,000?
The mindset of I'm training my replacement.
What?
All right, so
share more on that.
So, or I'm training my competition. I'm sorry. So, detailers as a whole are scared to hire and train because they're going to become your competition. They're going to take your business. They're going to, and this is going to happen, by the way, because I've had 3 or 4 of them actually do this thing.
Yeah, I've got 3 companies in this town that I personally taught them everything they knew. They left and started their own businesses.
Okay, so that's a reality, right?
Yeah.
And it puts a ceiling on most detailers because they're worried about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then there's this second piece of that, and I'll give you the follow up on that first piece in just a second. The second piece is the mindset of no one can do it better than me, or I'm the only one that can do this thing. I heard it at lunch today from a guy, and I gave him the rundown. I said, well, then just prepare to do that the rest of your life.
Wow. Yeah.
If you can, and is anything so complex that you can't teach somebody else?
Yeah.
Let's start detailing. Is there anything so complex?
I can teach a monkey. Give me enough time, dude.
You know, Elon Musk is building rocket ships with a team.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we could sand a boat.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
everything you just said is wrapped up in one word: pride.
Right. It is. And detailers are all the best. Just ask them. Every one of them's the best.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's okay. But let's start with I'm training my competition. So yeah, you are, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But but what else are you going to do? Right? Are you going to stay there and complain about it and be stuck there in that position your whole life, or are you willing to just say at some point,
Sure,
this is going to happen? Here's the reality: if a detailer leaves me, and he goes and opens a business, and now he is my competition, and he's taking my customers. One is I didn't have a relationship with my customers, and that's my problem, not his.
Yeah.
That's problem number 1. Number 2 is if I train him good enough to go open his business and run it effectively and become my competition, I did a pretty dang good job training.
Yeah. Heck
That means I got a good process
You're a
in
good
place.
boss to work for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can train another one just like I trained
Yeah.
him. I can
And
train
then that
3
gets
more.
you thinking, going, maybe I could franchise this.
Yes. Yeah. So
Maybe I train them and let them leave. And
right.
yeah. Well, I've heard this say too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no.
I've heard this said, like, if you can train someone and they leave and start their own company, but are enough competition for you and it hurts your business in some way, that actually says more about you and your business than it even does about them. You know, that shows that you've got some major flaws. And I know for a fact that that's 100% the truth of that mindset, because I've talked to people all the time. Like I've got people in my family that even have that mindset of like, you know, anytime you train someone good, they're gonna leave and start their own business. And I'm like, I guess at the end of the day, that's just straight up insecurity, you know? And it honestly kind of shows that you're not actually confident in what you can do, what you build.
Right.
And it sort of points out like a red flag of how maybe you don't even know how you got to where you are.
Yeah.
Like it almost like accidentally happens. You're like, dude, if somebody does this, like they might beat me quick.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to keep it going or grow from here. But
No, it's an insecurity, and
Yeah.
usually if you can't explain why or how you do something, you don't truly know it.
Yeah.
And so I think that creating process and all that I was going to get into that is the next steps of building the team is creating the process.
Sure.
But if you don't have that stuff in place and you're just kind of scrambling around, it's also a kind of a fear like, how am I going to train somebody how to do this?
Yeah.
You know, but the second part is like this prideful thing where no one can do it as good as me.
Yeah.
Or they're going to mess something up. and you know what? Maybe both are true. But you know what? You've messed something up. You've had to repair. You've broken an antenna off or ripped a sensor off the bottom, or whatever the thing. We've all wrapped the cord around the rotary and snatched a depth finder out or whatever.
One of my detailers put a suction cup that we used to suck to the side of a hull on the ceiling of a $4 million yacht and decided to do pull-ups.
Oh, no.
And snapped the ceiling out, ripped it out. Yeah, I've never done that. So.
No, I've never done that. Yeah, that's he needs to become your competition.
Yeah. Well, he isn't.
And so the second piece is like, okay, if I am the only one that can do this thing, I will be the only one that does this thing. You can't grow.
It caps out at you.
Yeah, that's it. That's the bottleneck.
Dude, that is so good. Yeah, I 100% agree with all that. That was a big one for me. Not so much the competition thing, because I had help and I love teaching too. So that's a hard part, is like I kind of maybe overteach too much and show people how to do everything. What have you found that maybe prevents that? Like just practically. I know I have some things that I can share about, but I'd just love to hear, like, is there something you've done? Do you even try to prevent it? Or like just practically, what have you found that kind of maybe stops that from happening?
Oh yeah, we pave a path.
Yeah.
We here's a success path. And your future and your success is in your hands.
Wow.
And my number one job for all of our companies is to paint the path of success.
Yeah.
What does success look like to you? How are we going to get you there? And I'm always casting a vision.
That's good.
If these guys feel like I'm just going to be polishing this boat the rest of my life, like how long before you don't want to polish that boat anymore? But if you're polishing that boat to get to the end where, hey, we are doing these things. We are the best detail shop. We've won these awards. We're growing. You're teaching others. You're traveling the U.S. You're doing these opportunities, and it's all about how much do you want it.
Yeah.
If I'm casting that vision, and I do it on a daily basis because I want everyone to know where we're headed. I get everybody looking down the road instead of looking at the boat that they're polishing there.
That's good.
So it's a constant. And a lot of times you get the eye rolls, or you get because the guys have been there for 9 years, and but every single one of them, I always point to them. I said, "Well, are you making twice what you made when you started?"
Yeah.
Most of them are like, "No, I'm making like 3 times more." I said, "Okay, so have I lied?"
Yeah.
I lied, yeah. And could you do more and make more?
Yeah.
I probably could go learn how to do PPO. Yeah, exactly. I thought
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
And so casting that vision is what keeps our team in place, and it keeps everybody from getting just bored to death, and then the grass is greener on the other side. Maybe I want to go drive a truck or cut grass or teach a class or whatever.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm hearing from that is, instead of putting practical measures in place so people don't leave you, like, oh, I'll teach them how to buff, but I won't share the numbers, I won't share the pricing.
Yeah.
Instead of going that route, you're more or less going, what do I need to do different in my business to cause people to not want to leave in the first place?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We are transparent. We talk about numbers every day.
Yeah.
We I would never cap somebody. I want everybody there making more money than me, more successful than me, because inevitably I'm going with the tide.
Yeah.
And then that's what you want.
Well, and I tell people this too when I hire them, like, hey, I love paying you money.
Yeah.
However, it's like, well, one, the company's got to make money, but two, it's like the more money you produce for us, the more money I can pay you. Like,
Absolutely.
practically speaking, like that's why it's like, with certain salespeople in our stuff, or even our affiliates that for our brand, it's like one of the best days of our week. Like sometimes it's painful, but it's like when we get to send them their checks, dude, because it's like, wow, like if I'm paying you this much, like this is how much you are of value and produce to this company, man.
That's right.
It's a good place. So yeah, I love that. I really love that answer, because one thing too, and I know you're big on this, and like, it's I hate the word kind of like self-improvement or whatever, but
Sure.
it's taking ownership instead of like, blaming other people, because what so many people do is that'll happen, they'll start another company and they'll be like, oh, that guy's a jerk, that guy did this, blah blah blah. But I had a business mentor of mine years ago, and I share this a lot, and if somebody was complaining about how there's no good workers out there, there nobody wants to work anymore, this younger generation, blah blah blah. And the guy was a Chick-fil-A owner, and he heard the question, and I was on that guy's side. I was like, yeah, man, people suck, And he was like, man, I run my entire company off of 16-year-olds. He's like, literally, my management's older, but all my employees are 16, 17, 18 max. And he's like, the younger generation's out there. And he's like, I have learned that there are plenty of great people. There's plenty of great employees. The only problem is they don't want to work for you.
That's it.
And dude, that literally changed my life, hearing that, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. So instead of blaming people from leaving or trying to hide numbers and stuff, it's like, no, how do I create an organization that, one, attracts amazing people, but giving them a path of success to make them realize, like, hey, there is opportunity to grow here.
Yeah.
You mentioned something earlier along that path of, I've done it myself, dude. Like you get stuck in the day-to-day grind of buffing and money's tight and blah, blah, blah. And you get so fixated on the problems of today, and you feel like there's no way out. So the only way out is to quit, go into real estate, or start a pressure washing company or a fencing business, or go sell cars. I literally did all this, but I would always come back. And I would always ask God, I'm like, God, why? Like, did you just need a good boat washer in this world? Like, did you really create me? Like, in my mother's womb, you were like, I need someone to buff boats in Pensacola. And it's not about that at all, man. It's like, I feel like God blessed me with the opportunity to like not give up and just like go, no, like, how can you create something that attracts great people and you can go somewhere?
Well, the reality is there's problems in everywhere you go. Yeah. I had this conversation with this a young lady that works for us, and we love her to death, and she just turned in a notice because she has another opportunity, right? And she's sitting at my desk the other day, and she's pitching, she's pitching it to me. She's letting me know, but she's pitching this grandiose idea. And I said, okay. And I let her hear, and I said, I think it's great. I love the opportunity. I think it's wonderful. We're going to miss you, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, you done? Because when you're done, I want you to sit there and I want you to hear this for a second. And I said, she said, okay. And I said, listen, let me tell you this. Opportunity isn't handed out. It's you create it. And it doesn't matter where, if you think they're shoveling money into people's cars over there for not doing anything, and you just got to show up, fill out this application, now you're driving around. It's not it, dude. They're going to have the same they're going to have the same issues. They're going to have you're going to have to work when you don't want to work. You're going to have to do something you don't want to do. Yeah. You're going to have to deal with something you don't want to deal with. You're going to have to respond to an email you don't want to. They're going to have that stuff too. Yeah. Okay. So running to a different opportunity doesn't eliminate the problems. Yeah. If it was that easy, don't you think they would do it themselves? Yeah. It's not. It's another job with another set of problems, and you are responsible for creating the opportunity in yourself. Yeah. If you said, I want to make more money and I only want to work 4 days a week and I want to travel. Okay, your job would have been to look at this position that you're in and say, what other opportunities are here that I could do this? Maybe I'm going to work a little bit hard. Maybe I'm going to, work through some of my process, and I'm going to create some opportunity where I'm sitting right now, instead of on a hope and a whim. And I'm not saying that to politic to keep her there, because I wasn't going to keep her there. Like, I could have offered. I
was firing her in it now.
Yeah, no, she's great. But, but I wasn't going to give her the more money speech.
Sure.
I was like, go check. Go. I mean, because I said this. Yeah. I said, there's a reason why more than half of the people that have left me have come back at some point. There's a reason for that. And the reason is they get over there and they realize it's a job and they don't care. Yeah. You know what I mean? At least it's a job here and we do care. Yeah. And there's a lot of understanding and a lot of working with, because that's what I believe in. Wow. And so, and just people have to understand that opportunity, it's not at the next open door. It's not at the next door. It's where you're standing. That's where the opportunity lies. You create it, and then another door may open because of that. But you're not always chasing that next thing that you don't know about, where the grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah. And I think it's our job to teach people that along the way. Not scare them away from trying other things, but let them know, like, hey, it's just not rainbows and butterflies when you cross that bridge.
Sure. Yeah, and with that too, it's like I have learned too, like, when you have employees with the growth path, and that's one thing practically, kind of going back a little bit, that I did with my team, my detail guys in particular, and even with our product staff, I was like, hey, this is where you're starting out. You know, practically we put people on like a 90-day probationary period. And I'm like, hey, there's a raise if you meet these standards. But then once you meet these standards, then here's some other standards that once you meet those, here's more opportunity, more. So it's like, it's giving you a path to go upward because no one wants to feel stuck. However, how once you have your employees in place, you know, and they're doing good, how do you encourage them to want to chase those opportunities within the organization? So does that make sense what I'm asking?
It does.
Okay.
And so we ran into a brick wall about 2 years ago where our techs, like all 10 or 12 of them, had reached maximum potential pay for detailing, ceramic coating. Like we could not pay them more by the hour.
Sure.
Couldn't do it. Like it was just, I mean, we're on the higher side of our market and pricing. Like we couldn't just raise prices. They weren't going to get any more efficient. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
These guys are veterans, you know, they're there, you know, and so you
can only go so fast to do it right, of high quality.
So what we did was we created a performance-based pay, and we implemented it about 2 months ago, and it took me 1 year. It took me 12 months of coaching the guys, coaching the team, helping them understand how this was going to work, helping them understand that they needed to learn new services, helping them understand how they could use this to benefit them and grow them, and then doing a mock-up for like 2 months of what you would have made versus what you did make.
Sure.
Here's how I knew it was going to work. I walked out into our shop one day, and Tab, one of our lead, it's a girl, our lead boat detailer. She's amazing, by the way. I think female detailers are amazing.
Yeah.
Like I would hire a team of them. I love them to death. I think they're great.
Sure.
We're blessed with one right now. I've had numerous in the past. I walked up to a boat, bay boat, and we're ceramic coating. It's like a 1 year light polish and coat. And I said, Tab, I said, is there any way you get this boat done by the end of the day? And she's like, oh, no way. No, it'll be, you know, it's on a Friday. No, it'll be like Monday afternoon. I said, okay. All right. So I walked off and I came back and I said, if I paid you $600 today, would you get this boat done? She said, oh, absolutely. There's the problem.
Yeah.
Incentive's wrong.
Yeah.
What incentive did she have? She wasn't going to make any more money.
Sure.
Why should she become more efficient?
Yeah. Well, in hourly pay, you get rewarded for taking longer.
Yeah. That's job security. That's job security.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
And so I knew right then that we had to make a change.
Sure.
But then it's like I wasn't going to subject them to the volatile flow of income for a business.
Yeah.
So I had to put them in a max, and I also I didn't want them to get so much money on a week.
Put a minimum into.
Yeah, where they would blow their cash and then have to ride the wave. I don't need them all stressed out.
Yeah.
I just need them paid based on their performance.
Sure.
And so we did a min and a max, and it's been amazing.
That's awesome.
Like, life changing.
Yeah.
Life changing. So I probably should have mentioned that first
Yeah,
when we on the restart.
Yeah.
But that's like if your techs aren't performance based pay, I care more about them than I probably care about myself. Like literally. So I took it very personal to get the right program, to develop the right system that they could win under. And so, I'm happy to share that with anybody that needs that. So
yeah. Well, one thing I'd like that, by the way, because
of course.
that is, it's kind of like, I like that approach because you basically did it. It's not a either or, but it's like and both or whatever that saying is. It's like most people do commission only or like percentage only. And then there's ups and downs, winters, summers. Now they're making a ton and you're like, oh my God, I'm giving out a lot. And then, you know, it's like, hey, now you're making nothing and now they can't pay their rent, which makes your employees unhappy. And then there's the other side where it's just hour. Yeah. But it's like, I like what you just said. It's you're incorporating both. You're having a maximum, you're having a minimum. So they're at least paying their bills. They can, rely on that. And it keeps them out of stressing out if they're going to make money next week or next month. So, dude, I love that. And that comes into play only when you have, or at least I would feel like only when you have a plethora of jobs coming in. So
yes,
how would you go about, or let me ask you this. going from that 100 to 200,000 a year, going to that $1 million mark, what did you have to change in your advertising structure to actually attract enough clients? Because it takes a lot of clients to hit that,
It's a
hit
machine.
that number.
Yeah,
So,
you're consuming work, and that's
Sure.
the way we look at it. Like you're literally consuming work, and so you have to feed the machine.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say before we jump to marketing is, it is impossible to get there without a process of the detail. And so the team has to understand what to do in every situation. Here's how we do it, over and over and over, repeatable again. On the marketing side, you know, like for me, it was to get myself out of the shop, and then create captivating enough content to bring enough attention to Easy In to consume that work. Sure. And so, like, it was done through Shop Talk, a series that I shot. And so Shop Talk originated because when I came out of the shop to work in the business, everybody wanted to see Dustin.
Yeah.
You know, that was like, you know, like you experience and everybody else does that's an owner operator. Everybody still calls you. Everybody still wants you.
Yeah.
They still want to see your face. So I created a video, a series called Shop Talk, and it was allowing our viewing audience to see me in the shop, but I wasn't actually in the shop still.
Yeah.
And so I was informing, I was teaching about things that we were doing, I was going over stuff. So they kind of had this feeling that I was out there, even though they didn't see me when they pulled up.
Yeah.
And so, so the marketing behind it is to just grab attention by the grows, and it's not selling. You know, like we rarely, I mean, I can't think probably 10 posts out of 1,000 a year is about buy package A.
Yeah.
It's present a problem. And so you present the problem, right? And you present the solution, and you're just the bridge to get there, right? So here's this problem I'm sure you've had. Here's how we solve it. Oh, here's how it's solved. And by the way, we just happened to solve it.
Yeah.
You know, see your hero over here in the story.
Yeah,
you know?
that's good.
And that's it. And so a lot of our marketing is built on that background. So, you know, social media, I mean, Easy In was built on the backbone of Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, literally from day one, it was before and after pictures like everybody else.
Yeah.
Still before and afters. You know, then we migrated into, maybe have a person working in the picture, and then we video, and then short form, and all that stuff. So a content engine that runs nonstop to bring in the leads. And
Have you found an effective strategy? Or let's pretend, what effective strategy would you put into place to like keep that going? Because one of our best episodes and highest performing that we've done so far has been the social media one. And I did a full thing on how most detailers are doing social media wrong. Yeah. And most detailers, like when you're scrolling on Instagram and you see people, it's literally just like a voiceless thing, and they're buffing a boat, and then they show a nice shiny boat, and then it's like, cool, and then you swipe on. And it seems like everyone's doing that. And I have some where I do that too, but it's for a specific purpose.
That's
but
right.
How important is it to get a specific strategy you feel like that actually converts to detailing customers? Because it is different too for the product side.
Oh,
And,
it's
you
much
know,
different for product. Yeah. And so this is real simple. Okay. We don't sell shiny boats or shiny cars. So when you go take a picture of the shiny car, like you're only triggering an emotion of the consumer for a second going, oh man, I want a shiny car. Not, I want my car shiny.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you're in a video and you're polishing the boat and you're explaining what you're doing and you're explaining the problems you're solving and stuff, you are triggering emotion from someone that's going by going, yep, I got that problem, and yes, that's what I need. So content doesn't need to be what you did. It needs to be what you do.
Yeah.
In the act of it, and then the informative side of it. So not just, here's what I did, but it's, here's what I do.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm doing this because this car came in here or this boat came in here with this much oxidation, and we're going to sand through. And they don't want to care if you're using a Merca pad that's 1,000. It's this boat, you couldn't see your reflection in it. It's super oxidized. Gelcoat's, you know, we're going to sand and polish it out. This thing's going to look great. Here's a snapshot. You know, boom. That's it. Now, someone that's sitting on the toilet scrolling Facebook and has an oxidized boat is like, man, I need that.
Yeah.
You know, and then you trigger emotion. However, I'm going to tell you the not so, popular answer to marketing. The best marketing you can do, the best sales you can do is to turn inward and communicate back to your customer base.
What does that mean?
All right, so the customers you've already done business with, we lose focus on it. A lot of times, in 99% of the times, customer comes and does business with Drake, right? You slap them on the butt, you see them later. See you next time.
Yeah.
Call me when you need me.
Yeah.
Okay, and here we go, pumping Facebook full of ad money. Google
get
ads.
new customers.
New customers. Every time you spend money on new customers, it's an acquisition cost. There's a cost associated with it. Every time a customer comes back in the door, you're cutting that cost that you originally paid in half. So you're essentially deducing it to nothing. So we're also scared, and it's not popular and it's not glamorous to go, I'm going to call 10 customers that did business with me 3 months ago and see how they're doing.
Sure.
Like there's no glamour in that. There's no likes, no hearts. But it is so much more effective than chasing new customers all the time. You have to chase new customers.
Yeah.
You've always got to build the top, right? You got to bring them in the top. So the content's got to happen. The ads have got to happen. That doesn't go away. But what has to happen is we have to communicate to our customers that have done business with us in the past, nurture them, make sure they don't forget you, bring them back in the door, give them a reason to come back in the door, and even more, give them a reason to tell a friend to come back in the door.
Yeah, that's good.
That's where the money's made. That's how empires are built. That's how the foundation is built on businesses that will sustain. Because if you're chasing new customers, every time they come up with a new social media or a new algorithm or a new ad campaign, you fall back in line. But if you got a relationship with your customers and you have a process in which you communicate with them on, and they're expecting a message in 90 days, like, I know Dustin's going to text me, not just when the schedule's empty, because we all do it. Man, I need something to do tomorrow. Here's my top 5 customers. Text them.
Yeah.
What if you were texting them or emailing or calling or texting or, however you communicate?
Yeah, some form of communication. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I remember you sharing that too at MTE, and I wrote that down as well. I mean, that's one thing we do. I mean, we do email blasts to all of our past customers, emails. I don't do a ton of like regular texting, but we do follow up text. And one thing that we've implemented, because we are predominantly mobile, which I don't think we ever talked about the fact that you're not mobile at all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I was for some period of time, but we've brought it all shop.
And I want to ask you about that too, if you were starting all over again. But the one thing is, like, we'll reach out to clients quarterly, and then we've tried to implement, which has been very successful for us, is we try to turn every restoration that we do into a monthly relationship.
Absolutely.
And we kind of we've been wrapping it into like a paid warranty program. So it's like, hey, if we do a full ceramic coating, we'll put you on a very easy, it's, I think $8 a foot for a standard, but once a month we have to come out, we'll wash it. You pay for it, yes, but we're detailing your boat, and then we'll warranty our job for, I think, 3 years on a coating. And now once a month, if we go out and we see something's not looking right, we'll just slap a little coating, bang it out, boom, done. And it's, dude, we've had a phenomenal success rate with that. And it's like, our list is growing. But that was my mindset that used to hold me back years ago, was like, well, I'm by myself. I'm not going to leave a $2,000 job to go do a $200 wash across town. Like, I don't want to do that. But when you look at the lifetime value of these clients, and the better you take care of someone, the better you serve someone, the better their boat looks, they have buddies, and they will bring you a friend. Yes. And I remember at MTE you shared about that, of like turning one client, reaching back out to them and having them bring their friends in too, man. And you treat people right, they become your marketing. You don't have to go posting so much on social.
No, that's right. And let's talk about that real quick. A referral program. Everybody's so scared to give away money to a referral program. It's like, well, what if they all redeem it? I had one of our marketing girls like, you're going to do what? And they're like, well, what if they all come? And I'm like, yeah, what if they all come? Yeah. Like, think about that. What if they all come? Yeah. Like, how great will that be? But here's the thing is, we have no problem giving Mark Zuckerberg $1,000 a month.
Yeah, more than that.
Whatever, right? Yeah, exactly. A lot more than that. But let's say we were getting on the lucky side. Yeah. Anyways, and with maybe we get a customer, maybe we don't. Okay, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you get 5, maybe you get 15. What if I go and take $1,000 and push it backwards out to my current customer base, and I say, for every customer, I'm gonna give you $100 next time you see me, and I'm gonna give your friend $100 next time you see me.
Yeah.
First of all, 2 things that happens. One, if they don't come back, it costs you nothing. Mm-hmm. If they do come back, it got you a job.
Yeah.
So it's 100% conversion. It's 100% conversion. In other words, it's a no lose situation.
Yeah.
You can't lose. But we're also caught up on new customers.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the recurring model, like the monthly. There is huge value in recurring business. It builds the base.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about building a team and all that, like growing. It's hard to grow when you're subject to new customer build. Like maybe we sell the coatings, maybe we don't, maybe, economic factors slow down. But if you have a recurring where, look, I know for a fact we're going to do, 40,000 this month in just boat washing and detailing or whatever, because that's our recurring business.
Yeah.
You can sleep at night, knowing that the base, the recurring, will take care of the payroll.
Yeah, sure. And, it's nice when slow times come and, half of your month is already taken care of.
Yeah, it's already on the
you're
schedule.
good. Yeah. It's less pressure, less everything. And, one thing from a marketing perspective is like the more you're out there monthly at these marinas and your trucks are there, your guys are there, they're building relationships, they're saying hi to the boat next to them. It's exposure. It's constant exposure. Every time we're going out doing anything, that's where I'm like, I don't really look at it as $200. I look at it as more of a relationship building where we're making sure our work stays looking great for years and the exposure. It's like there's no losing it, like you said.
No, there's not. And you're a rolling billboard. You're out there making, getting more jobs. And also, no, I think that, the recurring model I was just like you. A maintenance wash on a car, now it's $100. Used to it's $45. Like how do we make money with a job that comes in and it needs more work? The idea is that the more you see it, the better it gets. And so if we can explain that to the customers, and now we're become more efficient, and the more we see it, the more we get.
Yeah.
Instead of, well, how am I going to make money if I only charge this guy $100 to come back in and wash it in and out? Well, it's because it's going to turn into the next 1,000.
Yeah, 100%. And for us, like kind of on that same thing is when we go out now, to some of our monthlies, like they're not even dirty.
They're not dirty.
Like they didn't even use
Wipe
it.
down.
So we're in and out. Yeah. And we're about to come out with a new product that makes that real easy. Just a good, just wipe down clean, and we've been using it and we don't even have to wash the thing. Just go wipe it out and you're moving on. Customer's happy and I'm happy. So I know we're coming up on time. I got kind of maybe a little change of gear.
Okay. Let's do it.
And cause this is the stuff I like to talk about. Out of everything in your business, you started over, you did all the things, and now you're right back to where you are today. Thank you for taking us on that journey.
Sure.
What do you, when you're communicating to your employees, maybe even talking to your wife after, a long day or whatever, what matters most to you in your business?
What truly matters to me is the way that our team feels. Like feelings matter to me, and our customers. And I don't say that like it's cliche. Like everybody says that. No, that like really means something to me.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure our team is happy. I want to make sure our customers are happy. Like that matters more than anything in the world. Any of the stress that I carry comes from one of our team members that's struggling with something. That's maybe it's outside of work, and I carry the weight of them. So like what truly matters to me is the feeling of our team. And then if our customers are happy, like I can't stand an unhappy. We've gone 12 years and we've probably gotten 2 or 3 negative reviews. And man, they hurt every time, it's just like, you're not going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Or even worse, if you hear a story and, it's like, man, I brought it up there, but blah, 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 and I just never called you back. And I'm like, God, why'd you do that? Man, just bring it in now. Like, we'll take care of it. And, we don't know. So that's what matters to me.
Yeah, that's good. With that, it shows that you actually care. Like you actually care about your employees, you care about your customers. It's, like you said in the very beginning, it never was about making money. It was about solving problems. And like, even for us, man, like I've got employees that'll sit in here crying, about personal issues, and I'll take the time and actually help them through that. And those employees become loyal people, and they'll stay forever, maybe hopefully forever, but like they'll stay because we care about them. And then, my business partner, one thing he tells me all the time is like, when your employees, like for kind of practical stuff that like matters in your business, he's like, people will care about the things that you care about as long as you communicate that. So it's like, if you care about your clients, if we as business owners don't communicate to our people that we care, then our employees won't care. And then now they're missing stuff. They're messing stuff. Now you're getting more negative reviews. And that missing ingredient is they don't know, your employees don't know how much caring actually matters to you. And the way they experience that is how much you actually care for them.
That's right. And like, to our own demise, sometimes we care so much. Like, everybody that ever interacts with any of EZN or any of IGL, it's global, right? They're always like, man, your people are so nice. Like, they care. And it's like, that's the thing we focus on. Like, if someone has an issue, it's a problem across the board. Like, we're stopping the train to solve the problem. And we're not going to die on a hill trying to prove ourselves right. This is what I always tell our people. Like, at the end of the day, it's not worth. If the shirt don't fit, get another shirt. Swap it out. If we missed a French fry, vacuum the French fry. You know, like, don't die on the hill because, well, we weren't supposed to vacuum the trunk, and now all of a sudden they're coming here saying, look, vacuum the trunk. Let's go.
Vacuum the dang
we could
trunk.
already be done.
Either you could have vacuumed the trunk, and now it's 3 hours of back and forth and a 1-star review.
And next thing you know, the customer's bashing you on Facebook because they forgot to tell you, everybody, that they didn't want the trunk vacuumed. Whatever, you know.
Yeah, I know. I said years ago. That wasn't true. About a month or two ago, I learned this. A guy I watch, Andy Frisella, online. And
I like Andy.
He was talking about his pay structure and bonuses, and he said that in their organization, they don't do any monetary bonus, like rewards for monetary gain. So, like, say, like, top sales guy got the bonus because he sold the most. He's like, we don't ever reward on that. We only reward on core values and principles.
Oh, I like that.
And he said that dude, I know. I was like, dang.
I like that.
So he said, one, they hire and fire by their core values, and they give bonuses on their core values. And he's got a list of core values. I don't know all theirs by heart, but one of them was going the extra mile. And he's like, you want to know an easy way for your employees to absolutely blow your customers' minds and transform your business? He was like, start giving bonuses to whoever goes the extra mile every month. And he said they do a full ceremony, like once a month or something, or maybe once a quarter. They do a ceremony, and they have like plaques and financial rewards for each core value, whoever demonstrated that. And they are not allowed to report themselves. It has to come from either a coworker or a customer. And then they get nominated, and whoever had the absolute best, wildest, like, going the extra mile for the client gets the bonus. And I'm like, dude,
that's
cool.
That's
we
great.
rewarded people, because if we reward our employees on who was the most efficient, well, guess what? Now we're missing trunks, we're missing stuff, and it causes problems. Even though like 90% of what they're doing is awesome, now they're missing stuff because they're like, I got to be the most efficient. However, if we start giving bonuses on who goes the extra mile, well, now the trunk's getting done. Dude, they got underneath the car and wiped the mufflers. They put hand sanitizer in there, a fresh cold water bottle, and like before you know it, someone gets in their car and they're like, bro, I got an ice cold water bottle. My car smells good. My trunk's done, even though I didn't ask or pay for it. And it makes your company look better. So I love it, dude.
It's great, man. That's great. I've never thought about it that way, so I appreciate that.
No, yeah, and he went ahead and he talked about each core value that they do a bonus for each one. So like one was like taking initiative, going the extra mile, being disciplined, and they nominate and get bonuses on their core values.
Man, that's cool. That's cool.
All right, one last one, and this will be it. What was one of your biggest business failures, and what needed to change in you to prevent that from happening again?
Oh man.
It's a whole nother episode, huh?
Business failures. Oh man.
And it could even be personal, and it doesn't have to be the biggest. I'm just saying, like, one of those grand moments of like, dude, I got to change this in me so this don't happen again.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So, because like, for me, and this is going to sound cliche, like failure is like just that stepping stone. So like to go single out a moment, I mean, there's some things I would do different 100%. Like, but there was a defining moment in EZN's history, and I keep referencing EZN because I think that the audience really could resonate that. EZN had a dysfunction, right? We built this engine that was based on KPIs, numbers, like jobs in, jobs out, dollar average per job, like how much this engine was turning, job numbers, and everything was attached to numbers. And it was great until it wasn't. It was great until the economy shifted a little bit. And now, post COVID and money wasn't literally being handed out. Okay. Yeah. And all of a sudden we felt retraction happening. And so we realized that we weren't building a relationship with our customer at all. We were take their money, slap on the butt, see them later, And so, and knowing that more would come. The defining moment was like the moment of, we can't operate like this any longer. We have to build a relationship with our customer, and it starts at the team level. So we have to teach our team how to build relationships with our customers. And we did it through a thing that I call name and pain. So know their name, know their pain. Know who they are and know why they're there. And then reference that when you see them, because that connects you to them. And so that, like, the single defining moment that changed the trajectory of EZN, and it kind of got us past that cap, was that piece, and saying we're no longer just a company that will process these details. We're going to build relationships, and we're going to squeeze the sponge on that relationship as much as we possibly can. That was kind of anticlimactic, but that's the way that it was. Now, go ahead.
And I guess I'm trying to go more personal with it. With that, was there something in you personally as a business owner? Because like, hey, we love money, we want to make money. Was there a shift in you to be like, in order for my team to stop operating off of KPIs, numbers, and all this, in order for them to start caring more about their needs, was there actually something personal you had to change in you to be able to pull that off?
Absolutely. And so I went through a pretty nasty divorce about, I guess, 5 or 6 years ago now. And there was some rough times there, and I was running my business probably not as good as I should have. I was not involved. I was not connected. I was not understanding enough. I was very much, this is the way we're going to do it, and we're going to do it this way.
Sure.
And going through that divorce, and then of course, meeting Chelsea and building a relationship with her, and then within that, leaning into my faith and learning about, God's impact. And I've always been a Christian. I went to church when I was younger. There was a time where I didn't. But after my divorce, and after Chelsea and I got together, and we together started leaning into our faith, that's when things truly started to change in our business. And that's when, like, the true connection. And we've seen people leave, and now I can look back, and it hurt when they did, but I know for a fact that was God pulling the people out of our life that didn't belong.
Wow, yeah.
And so that was by far the biggest impact, especially on me personally. Yeah. I'm not the same guy I once was, man. There was like, I was, as great as I can be equally as hard, you know? And when things weren't right, I wasn't the best at communicating that. I was, I was the desk flipper too, and so, like, leaning into my faith and learning, how I can hand some of this over to God, and then being understanding about how people make mistakes and all that stuff. Like, all of that has played a huge factor over the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
That's good, man. And you think, it sounds like how going through, that time, and, and we were in relationship through that time as well. And, I would assume it makes you ponder and go like, okay, I am worried about all of this stuff, but really I should be focusing on the real issues, or even caring, I'm sure, just redemptive wise, even with a new relationship, you're probably being a little more attentive and a little more involved and that kind of thing too, and which directly correlates into, hey, our clients have issues, and we need to actually care about them and solve them and cater towards each individual goal.
It is. It's a whole different mindset, and it really has made the biggest impact on our business. We've had pastors coming in and on Mondays and talking to us before in our team meetings, like cool. Before our team meeting, come in and just give us a message and then pray over us, and man, that's been amazing. And just mine and Chelsea's walk with God, and just in a relationship aspect of it, it all kind of trickles down and runs through the business.
Yeah, I don't love that saying of, like, people are like, it's business, it's not personal, or like, things that people will say like, you know, I do this in business, but my personal life's over here. I can't pull it off where I can separate the two. You know, it's like either I'm like I have found that if my personal life is going really great, it's odd how my business is going really good. And then vice versa. Like if things are going like crap in business, you know, my personal life can sometimes struggle as well.
So funny story. I know we're wrapping it up, but I'll give you a little story. I was asked to come to Nashville to an event, and I was asked to speak at it. And they gave me my topic. They wanted me to speak on a specific topic, and it was work-life balance.
Yeah.
That you just had. I had when I read the email. I was like, and so look, I had this whole thing, and I was going through this presentation about what, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've never believed in work-life balance. I don't think that you separate the two. Okay. Now I know that there's a time where you like attention and being present and all that stuff has to happen, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to separate my work and my life, because if I do that, I think it causes resentment.
Sure.
I think if I build a wall between my daughter Demi or Chelsea and our business, and now all of a sudden I've got to do this or that, they resent the business.
Yeah.
However, if they're involved in it, if work and life coexist, now when I have to do something or we have to make a sacrifice or we can't go do something, they understand it.
Yeah.
And now it's a group decision and not a Dustin decision.
Yeah.
And so to me, work and life coexist. That's business ownership. I mean, you know, I don't think an employee would treat it the same way. Maybe they should. But you know, from the ownership's perspective, the more we segment, the more we separate, the more we create resentment. And now it's this like, well, I got to get home and I can't talk about this business because, you know, we're working on this new thing and I'm supposed to not talk business when I get home. That's not reality, man.
Yeah.
You know, when people go home from their job, they talk about work.
Sure.
You know, they talk about their coworkers. They talk about. So I want to be able to come home and talk to Chelsea about, you know, there's no money in the checking account.
Yeah.
I just play, but you know, like those
Everything.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, and what helps with that too is when you also have a spouse that is on that same page. You know,
Yes.
It's funny. Our last episode actually that we filmed, I believe, was literally on like work-life balance and faith and stuff. And like, I mean, literally everything you said was, it's almost like you listened to it.
Really?
Yeah. Cause I mean, all of
go
that,
back and
dude.
listen to it.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's so true. But I do a little different, but that perspective of like having your family involved in the business, you know, it's like, I don't know that I consciously do that, but like my wife will very much be like, you know, when are you coming home? When are you coming home?
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of being that, I'd be like, babe, if you miss me, just come over, you know, and she knows that she can do that. For me, it's a little different because I've got 5 rowdy little kids that trip on cords and, you know, want to watch Bluey or something while I'm trying to work. But yeah, I mean, just having people involved. And I love that your wife is like here with you too. Cause like, if she wasn't, she might be at home being like, man, when the heck are you getting back? You know, but it's like, y'all do it together because your business is a part of your life. And I feel like, and I've done this, and I'm sure you've done this too in the past, and a lot of people do, but it's almost like your wife, and then it's like your business, and then like your kids, and it's like, no, man, like we're all in this thing together.
That's it. That's how I feel, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
It makes conversations easier, and there's nothing, I don't want to say to hide, but nothing I have to shield from. Like, hey, these things are real. This is this is the success, or this is not the success, and we have to, you know, we embrace that and work through things together.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Well, man, I think we can end it there. That was awesome, dude. Thank you so much again for jumping on. I know we'll, you know, I feel like the last couple of years we've done at least one episode about once a year.
We
so
have,
I'm sure
yeah.
we'll maybe see you guys next year, and I'll jump on one of yours again. But you got any last thoughts or anything else you want to just say? Or
you know, listen, we talked a lot about how happy we would be, and if we could start over. And I want to let you know, if you're in the middle of it or if you're in the grind, and it doesn't matter where you're at, like we all fight the same battles. We all fight the same struggles. So if you're in there, just keep going. Just keep pushing. I mean, you know, like don't look at someone like, oh man, they're so successful. They've got all that. We all could probably sit here. If you asked 100 entrepreneurs, 99.9 probably would sit here and say, like, I would start over in a heartbeat and do so many things different, no matter how successful they were.
Sure.
So just know that if you're fighting the fight, man, we all fighting the fight.
yeah, man, that's good. And dude, like when you're in the junk, like you feel like you're alone.
Yeah.
And you feel like, you know, I'm the only one that's struggling. Everybody else on social media is like making this money. Like, look at Drake, he's making money. Look
Yeah.
at Dustin, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the reality is, dude, we're all going through stuff.
We are.
You know, and that's why I try to be very real and authentic. I mean, my first episode, I cried, I think, half the time, you know, like, because I was like real, like talking about how I couldn't afford milk, you know, for my kids. And because I wanted to do that on purpose, because so many people that are on social media are only showing the highlights. And it made me feel so alone. Like, dude, what am I doing wrong, man? Like, this guy is making all this money, and then you find out that none of it was real, or he's actually broke and not doing any of the stuff he's saying. Yeah. And, you know, so with Dustin just said, like, if you're in the struggle, one, the biggest thing is like, don't quit. Yes. You know, don't do it. And two, just realize, like, we're all just trying to figure it out.
That's it.
Like, no one actually has it figured out. No one has cracked the code. Like, we are all just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks the longest. Because eventually it ain't going to work. You know, economy changes, life changes.
Yeah, things shift.
Things shift, and you got to adapt. So anyway, thank you again, Dustin, man.
Oh, man.
I really, really appreciate you, dude, for coming out, and thanking your wife for sitting through this and hanging out, and, you know, camera guy back there. So thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate you guys. Hey, if this episode impacted you, got you some value, please just do me one simple favor, and that's share it with just one person. Just bring me one person. That's all I ask for. And if you want to throw in a like, a comment, or something else, but just share it with one other person that could use this. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
That's awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. It's honestly a life changer.
Trickles down from and making yourself better.